In this short video, we will explore how to enable the logging while building Snowpark programs. We have a habit of writing a lot of print statement, but the challenge with print statement is its flexibility. We cannot turn it off or on as needed. As a proficient and skilled data developer, we must know how to achieve this goal in more manageable and effective manner. And that's what this short hands-on video will talk about. If you are coming from PySpark background, you will find Snowpark logging approach is much more simpler and sleeker than the PySpark. Welcome back to my channel Data Engineering Simplified and to this Snowpark playlist. Let's switch to our VS Code. So this is my simple Snowpark program which establishes a connection to Snowflake, get a session object, call the SQL function from the session object, apply some filter, add one column, and finally run a group by function. And once it is done, calls the show function to display the customer data, and it also calls the explain function to explain what query has been executed. Now before running this program, let's see how the customer data looks like in our Snow site. So this is my customer table under demo.snowpark context. Let me execute this query. So I have customer ID, salutation, first name, last name, date of birth, birth country, email, and referred flag. So total 8 columns in this table. Before we go into the logging part, let's run this program without logging. So when the logging is not enabled, it simply output what has been instructed. So the first 3 records from the customer table after the group by operation is performed, and dataframe.explain shows what is the query execution steps. So this is how the query looks like, and this is the logical plan. In the logical plan, it is scan the table, apply the filter, aggregate, and finally display the result. What if I comment this to statement? Let's see what output does it bring. It doesn't bring anything. Now, if you would like to add some logging, how would you add a logging without adding any print statement? So first, I am going to import these 2 packages, system package and logging package. Now I am going to add the basic configuration on this logging object, and it takes quite a lot of parameters, but for a simplicity, I am saying that please emit all your messages to the system.standardout and the logging level should be debug. I can go to info, warning, debug, critical, no set, and error. By default, it is error. So if any error occurs, it will display the error messages. So going back to debug, once your logging is done, just to make sure that how the logging is being printed, I am going to add a couple of more statements. Now let's run this program and try to understand how this logging adds a value when you try to debug a Snowpark program. So a lot of content is printed on our console. So this is my last line after the close statement, and here I can see Snowflake connector dot connection close. REST object has been destroyed and cannot close. So it has done something behind the scene in a threaded manner, which is difficult to see by looking at the code. If I look into this statement, it is doing a lot of telemetry operation and it is trying to broadcast what is the Python connector, driver version, and many more things. And that happens as a part of this session.close operation. Now this is my explain statement and this is what is being printed. And if you notice, between show and between explain, a lot of thing is being executed to run the explain statement. So this is your query ID and this is a select statement, which is nothing but a translation of your data frame operations. So this is how you can enable the logging in your Snowpark program and get more detail what it is doing behind the scene. Now, what if I have to add this output in a file? What changes I need to make? For that, I will replace this stream with file name and also add a date time format. Now let's run this program and see how I can capture all the log in my snowpark.log file. So only the printed operations are shown on the console. Let me open the snowpark.log file. When I try to see this file, I have a time printed over here. I have whether it is an information log or a debug log or a warning log, everything is printed and then followed by the actual message. So 394 line items are printed on my log file. So by adding these two packages and by calling the basic configuration, you can enable the logging in Snowpark. Let's talk about Snowpark runtime environment. Running this program where log is enabled and log messages are printed on your screen is possible if you are running your Snowpark program using local Python runtime environment. And I would like you to try the same program when the runtime environment is switched to Snowflake Sandbox. Will it work or do you need to make some changes? We have learned in our other playlist, Snowpark has a lot of limitation when it has to access the file system networks. And I would like you to share your observation in the comment box if you see a difference when you run the same program in Snowflake Sandbox. If you are curious how the log setting looks like in PySpark program, here is an example. We have to use session context to set the different log level. Alternatively, this is another example where you can create a logger object and then call different logger level function to set the log messages. You can download the sample code as well as Snowpark cheat sheet. Refer the description link for the instruction. For any additional queries or specific question, feel free to drop a note in the comment section or drop a note in my Instagram account. Thank you for watching, happy learning and keep growing.